Welcome everyone to the season number 1, headed into season 2 Chicago Tech Dynasty off-season. We will be going over everything here in this off-season. Graduation, transfers, recruiting results, including for our team. So without further ado, let's not wait. Let's get right on into it. We're going to be starting off with the NCAA tournament here in the Final Four. It was Kansas, North Carolina, Memphis, and Duke. Kansas beat UNC 83-77. Duke beat Memphis 74-72 off of a game-winning shot from freshman Cassius Stanley. But then Kansas was able to beat Duke in the Natty 90-79, led by 27 points from Final Four MVP Devon Dotson and another 22 points from Ochai Agbaji. For graduation, there is only one senior that is graduating from this Crocodile team, and that is forward Zachary Seals. Very solid starter who put up around 10 points a game, mainly playing power forward, even though he's more of a small forward. Now that he has graduated, Zachary Seals plans to potentially look at a career in marine biology, or he's also considering maybe returning to the school as some sort of scout or assistant coach for the Crocodiles. So those are his main two potential options for a career. 4 players are actually transferring away from the school, which is pretty big. 3 of these guys didn't play. However, losing 4 young talented players does hurt, starting off with Dave Dawson, a point guard who was redshirted. He is transferring to LSU. He actually wants to play baseball, and that's where he's putting most of his focus into, and he is retiring from basketball, even though he never stepped on the floor for this Crocodile team. Guard Eddie Fernando, who is also redshirted, is transferring to Richmond to play with the Spiders. Marcus Vincenzo, who is a solid bench piece for the Crocodiles, isn't necessarily transferring schools, but he's actually signed a contract with a lower league team in Italy, which is his native country. So technically, he is the first Crocodile to be playing professional basketball. And then Calvin Yatsek, the center, who was also redshirted this year, is transferring to Western Illinois to go ahead and play with the Leathernecks. On to the results of the 2020 NBA Draft, starting with the number 1 overall pick. That went to the Detroit Pistons, who finished with 34 wins and had the 12th best odds to get it, but somehow they defied all odds and were able to, and drafted Anthony Edwards out of Georgia. And the funny thing about this pick is, back when Loyola Chicago got the death penalty at the end of the past season, they paid 2 players over $100,000 to commit. One of them was Khalil Whitney, a forward from Kentucky, who was the 18th pick by the Trailblazers. And the other one was Anthony Edwards, which is sort of funny. So, had Loyola not been caught, they would have had the guy who went number 1. After him, James Wiseman out of Memphis is going to the Cavs. Cole Anthony out of North Carolina to the Phoenix Suns. Vernon Carey out of Duke to the Knicks. Precious Achiuwa out of Memphis to the Pelicans. LaMelo Ball to the Miami Heat. Jaden McDaniels from Washington to the Chicago Bulls. Scotty Lewis out of Florida to the Wizards. Ochai Agbaji, the only non-freshman here, or LaMelo, who's technically not a freshman, the only non-freshman to the Memphis Grizzlies. And then Brian Antoine rounding out the top 10 to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, Zachary Seals, who's the only player who graduated, did not get picked, as he didn't really pursue an NBA career seriously, which makes sense because he obviously isn't on anyone's NBA radar. Now on to recruiting. We're going to be going over the top 10 guys. I believe this is according to 247 Sports, if I'm not mistaken. The number 1 prospect, Evan Mobley, committed to USC a while ago. The number 2, a wing by the name of Jalen Green. He's going to replace Precious Achiuwa in Memphis. Cade Cunningham, he's going to Oklahoma State. Jalen Johnson to Duke. Scotty Barnes to Oregon. Greg Brown to Texas. Josh Christopher to Kansas. Zaire Williams to North Carolina. BJ Boston to Kentucky. And Jaden Springer to North Carolina. And now the moment of truth, the Chicago Tech recruiting class. Chicago Tech only got 2 players, but these are 2 players I think could be very impactful to this team, starting with Pleasant Grove High School, which is a Westlake pipeline school. Many great Westlake players, such as Owen Jackson, Isaac Solomon, Agobo Anecho, Nigel Wiggins, and Dante Savage went to Pleasant Grove. And now Chicago Tech is going to get a player from there. Center Luke Westwood, a 2-star. He is related to all those Westwood brothers, Stephen Westwood, Carter Westwood, etc., who are all football players. There's one basketball player in the family, which is Luke Westwood, and he is committing to Chicago Tech to be a backup center. And the other one, a 4-star guard, has chosen Chicago Tech over Duke. That's right, everybody. Brashad Anthony II is going to be a Crocodile, as he is such an explosive player. He has a good chance of being inserted into the starting lineup right away to replace Zachary Seals. What an addition that this Chicago Tech team is getting with Brashad Anthony. He wants to be a leader. He wants playing time, and Duke doesn't guarantee him those things, whereas Chicago Tech does. So, only 2 players, but 2 very good players for this Crocodile squad. So, there you have it. That is the off-season for the Crocodiles. Welcome aboard Luke Westwood and Brashad Anthony. Next episode will be the Season 2 preview. We will go over the depth chart. There will be a team rebrand. Shout out to your boy AP85. And then we will also be revealing the schedule. And if there's anything else important that I missed, I'll go over it then. So as always, have a good one.